Hey everybody, it is April 12th, 2013, and here's my garden update. I wanted to do one because I actually yesterday went and put some bone meal and blood meal down because I planted a lot of my peppers and tomatoes, which I'll get to in a minute, and I put bone meal in the holes, and once I got everything set, I put blood meal around all the tops of my plants. So I want to do an update now before everything takes into effect, especially because it just rained real good, so everything should be watered in real nice. So anyway, here's an update. Oh, and also my voice is a little froggy, and the reason being is because my daughter was actually just born on Sunday the 7th. And so it's been a lot of long nights since we've been back from the hospital. Got back on like Wednesday. She's healthy, 8 pounds, 13 ounces, and I am a first-time father. So it's a lot to get used to. But anyway, here is my update. My blueberry plant is doing great. I got lots of leaves on it. I do have, I'm not sure if these are going to be the blueberries. Or what it looks like that might be the case, but I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens. But we'll see what happens, and I'm kind of repeating myself. It's lack of sleep, please forgive me. Over here in this bed, the front row is all onions, which if I get down, they're actually getting pretty tall and thick. When we went into the hospital on Saturday, it was maybe 50 degrees outside. Everything was still pretty small. And when we got out on Wednesday, it was actually like 90 degrees or something like that. So we had a lot of heat, which has been great for the plants. So in the center 4 is butter crunch lettuce. And on the right side and the left side, those two center ones, that's romaine lettuce. And in the back is Brussels sprouts. And you'll see a lot of these little things coming up, and that's actually because I wanted to grow parsnips, but I didn't want to devote a whole bed to it, so I kind of just threw some parsnip seeds down just to see what happens, but they're kind of sporadic throughout the bed. Over here's my strawberry plants. They're good as well. Not a whole lot happening. For the beds that I've already planted, I pretty much just side dressed them with bone meal. I don't know if that's really the right thing to do or not, but I got a 24-pound bag of it, so it kind of it'll last me a while. My blackberry plant down here, nothing has happened. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if it's just waiting until it's constantly hot for a long time or what the deal is, but I put some bone meal and blood meal down on that, so we'll see. This bed, you can see I put in the fronts of the beds marigold plants. They had 6 packs, which were 2 for $3 at Home Depot. So I figured I wanted to put some of those out here anyway. So I got those, put them out. And the back here, I have a cherry tomato. This one is a cherry as well. I had some tomato plants that I made a video about it before, but they really just, all the leaves were turning brown. I don't know what the issue was, but I think I just didn't have enough nutrients in the fertilizer in the soil that I did. I didn't know, it was my first time doing seeds. I didn't really know I was supposed to put anything to it, but anyway, a lot of them kind of suffered from it. I'll know better for next year. But since I've cut it off, if it'll focus, there you go, I actually have leaves coming out of the top, so it works out. So I decided to plant it, gonna go with it. If nothing happens, then I'll pull it out and buy a new plant, but I want to try and use what I had. Over here, my peppers, this front one is habanero, then I have Marconi, what does that say, Sereno. And these two are Corno D something. I got them for free, or I think I got these ones for free through Heirloom Seeds, rareseeds.com, the Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company. This front one is a cayenne pepper plant, and it actually already has flowers on it. A lot of these were actually starting to produce flowers when they were in my office, and I kept pulling the seeds off, or the flowers off, just because I didn't want them to produce flowers and produce the fruit before the actual plant was big enough. My potato buckets here, you can see that they are now filled to the top. The reason being is because when I got back out of the hospital, they were huge. I had lots of green coming all out of it, and then I covered them, and by the next day we had another 90-something degree day. They just pushed right through again, and now even being filled to the top, if it'll focus, anyway, you can kind of see it, but the leaves are already starting to push out, even out of filling it to the top. So that's happening on all three of these buckets. They're all just red potatoes, just the kind that we like. Over here, these left three are all yellow California Wonder peppers, heirloom. These are just regular California Wonder, heirloom. This front one is yellow, the other two are regular, and then these three peppers over here are all jalapeno plants. So I'm a really big fan of the jalapeno. I do like the habanero and serrano just because I like to do salsa. So in the back here, my cucumber plants came up on this side. Those are all Sumter organic, and over here are pickle bush. I forget where I got these ones. They're not heirloom or anything, but I've only had 2 of them come out, and I planted an entire row over here just like this one. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but nothing's happening. Also, my raspberry plant over here, nothing. It's the same thing as the other blackberry plant. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but I just side dressed them, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully some will come from it. My raspberry plant over here is doing great. I got lots of green on it. This bed over here, I have a Rutgers tomato in the front, which I buried all the way to the bottom. Behind that, I have one of these cut ones of Rutgers, and it does have some leaves coming out of that one as well. And let me see, another Rutgers plant here, but this one, it just looks bad. I'm probably gonna have to get rid of that one. Next is Brandywine. This is another cut one, but it's produced all those leaves since I cut it. I cut it probably about a week ago, week and a half. And then another Brandywine over here. I'm going to be going to try and get some, I'd like to do an eggplant, maybe some, I can't think of the name. Anyway, just some other different varieties of plants over on this bed, just for randomness, and also just because I want to just grow as many different varieties as I can. Over in this bed, my kale plant, since I actually put the blood meal down and bone meal down yesterday, this plant seems like it's doubled in size. I don't know if it's true, but it seems like it got a whole lot bigger. My basil in the back, then I have oregano, rosemary, and cilantro. All those seem to be doing better since I side dressed them as well. And actually, on my blackberry plant here, it has some growth coming out of it. So maybe the other ones are going to do the same thing, but finally I have something. This long bed here, this is where I planted these sugar snap peas a couple weeks ago, maybe 2.5 weeks, I'm not really sure. But I planted them, they're about tall enough to where they can start grabbing onto the netting. So that's cool. My squash plant here, I thought was gonna die. And since I put the blood meal and bone meal down, it actually is a lot greener. And actually the other plants that I planted behind it are coming out as well. So I'm gonna let that one grow and we'll just kind of cut back the one that is lesser of the two, maybe in another week or two. Over here, there's the first 2 feet of this bed has all of these just stringless green beans, bush green beans, and then in the back row there's 2 rows of soybeans, edamame. So I really like having that with some sea salt on it, just steamed. And I got a stray carrot that came up, so I'm just gonna let that go. It's nothing above it, so it'll probably grow pretty good. Over here, and these, my spinach has gotten huge since I last saw it. My onions are coming up great. I've got random lettuce plants that have come because that's all I had in these beds, in these boxes before, which is lettuce. So those seeds have all started to come up in all of my beds, all of these actually. There's little ones just periodically, so I'm just letting them go because we'll eat that too. So spinach. In this bed I have, keep seeing bed, but it's a box. Sorry again, I'm just tired. I have a loofah plant, a couple of seeds, loofah seeds planted on the left. Over here is Tiger Eye sunflowers. Right here is Lemon Queen sunflowers, which those have actually started coming up. And then to the right here is all just lettuce. So I'm hoping that I can transplant those sunflowers. If not, it's just a fun experiment. See how it goes. Over here, just some other plants. These are all the ones I topped off that really look like they're just gonna die. The tops of them are super flimsy now. Really not doing great. This Rutgers here has some growth coming out of the bottom of it, so I'm just gonna let it go. But these ones over here, I'm probably just gonna get rid of them soon. My marigold plant looks great. I got a couple of gypsy tomato plants. That's actually what this one is as well. They really didn't get much of browning, but anyway, it's actually starting to rain, so I need to kind of hurry up. This is my arugula, my rocket arugula, which is all coming up. So I'm gonna need to thin that here in probably about a week, and then I'll cover it up with the mulch. Out on the side, this bed here, everything is doing pretty good, especially since I side dressed them. They seem a little greener now. But I did lose a lettuce plant, one of my buttercrup's lettuce. It's kind of nuts because these are the same lettuce plants that are in the bed back there. It's just I don't get a lot of sun over here, so they just haven't done as well. And I have my kale, broccoli all the way down in the back row, cabbage in the front. Along with, I ended up replanting my zucchini plants, the seeds here, because I kind of made the mistake of, when I did it, I put mainly manure down, and it seemed like it crusted and the seeds weren't able to even come through. It was kind of like hard as a rock. So I redid those yesterday, I believe, so it'll probably, or maybe the day before, so it'll probably be a few days or maybe a week before those start coming out. I also did one there as well. Those are all zucchini. Right here I put a line of sunflower seeds, Tiger Eye sunflower seeds, and I side dressed them as well. Up here, my green beans that I have, my bush green beans, not a whole lot is happening, except this one actually has one coming out of it now. Over here, I have some other green beans that are coming out as well. Right there. So, we'll see what happens with it. It's just something fun to put them up here. I'd rather be able to eat my plants than just be able to look at them. But we do still have the flowers as well, so. Alright. One last thing, and I'm going to try and hurry up. I want to get some editing software for these videos, so that way you don't have to really see me doing all the walking around and because I really don't edit a thing because I'm not sure how. I'm still really new to all this stuff. The last thing is the watermelon plant here. This is where it really crusted. This is the part that I pulled off the top, and there's actually some green has started to come out of it since I pulled it off, but I found some seeds that were just stuck whole in it. Not a whole lot has happened, but anyway, we shall see what happens. And here's my update. Any comments, suggestions, whatever you can help me, I'll take. And I just want to do it now before the blood meal and bone meal really kick in, just to see how much of a difference it actually makes. It's all organic. I'm trying not to do any chemicals or whatnot. I really want to keep it as organic as possible. I know sometimes I'll probably use some, but I'm going to do my best with it. So here's my garden update. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll probably have another one in about a week. Thank you. Bye.